and you go, okay, I want to find leads in this area, and you put the parameters in, and it'll go and find, and you'll get a big list of those. So that's a great time saver. It will do that very well.
Warning: Damian Andrews' growing revenue and profit, if implemented, will put more money in your pocket. Please use with caution.
It's all about AI. That's the buzz at the moment. Put AI on anything and it goes viral. And well, that's not the reason for putting AI on this video, but maybe it will, maybe it won't. Not expecting it. What I'm talking about here is the AI buzz and how that's going to affect your revenue and profit generation in the future. Because, I've been through a number of bubbles. I even remember the tech bubble, not the tech bubble, the Tronics bubble back in the 70s. So I'm older than I look. But yes, number of bubbles. The most recent one that probably stands out for a lot of people was the dot-com bubble, which is now over 20 years ago that happened. And when the dot-com bubble, it was all the same headlines. The internet was going to change the world and all these different things were going to happen. And yes, did it? Yes, certainly a number of things have fundamentally changed. Has there been new businesses around? There certainly has. You've seen the rise of a couple of key businesses that you're aware of and would use on a regular basis. Has it changed how everyone makes money? Yeah, it has as well, and we needed to adapt to that. So what's the difference between that bubble and what's happening now with AI? Well, let's look at what it's not to start with. What AI is not is it is not something that thinks. So we need to be clear about that. It's a very advanced, very fast research tool, definitely, but it doesn't think, and it only can deal with the information that it has. So it's the information that it's given. So it's not actually able to think beyond that, works within the parameters that it is given. And I know that I've used AI a bit for a number of different reasons, but I've also tested it and I've fed in some details about some of the technology that I've developed and wrote several books on some of the technologies that I've developed and use with companies. I haven't published those books, but I've written them, and I've fed that into the AI to get some more information, more detailed information, to write some more details about that, and it doesn't understand. It's not within its framework. I try to explain it to it. It really doesn't get that because it doesn't have the overarching overarching framework that supports that. So need to be mindful that it's a very fast and detailed and very complex research tool. It can draw out a lot of information very quickly, and it can process information. And feed back information, but only based on the parameters that it has been given, not just by you, but in its background as well. So that's something to be aware of. And also need to be aware of the bias that's imprinted, if that's the right word, certainly programmed into it. There's certain things where I've tested it and put questions in it, put some questions in about asking about gender roles, that kind of thing, and it'll come back and have a very clear, certainly ChatGPT does. It effectively avoids that question. So that has some biases written in, and not saying they shouldn't be written in, but be mindful of that there are and will be biases depending on the people that created it. So hopefully we have people that have strong morals behind them, strong values that they stick to, that serve society. But you also need to be mindful too, if we're working in any environment where you want to create innovation, we need to challenge thinking as well. We need to be able to ask questions, and some of that you're not able to do with AI. So they're very big limitations as to what it can do, because it is very much restricted by how it is programmed. So it's not free thinking. It's not thinking at all. It's an advanced research tool. Now, the other thing to put into consideration, and this is where AI will be helpful, but it won't replace the revenue and generating profit that humans can do, at least not for some time yet. People will be able to do this and can do this much better. But what it can do, certainly if you want to come up with some copy, it can come up with some copy, and it does a reasonable job. It's not great, but and the reason it's not great is if you put it into an AI detector, it will get picked up as AI. So it's very, and if you're using it for social media marketing, things like that, you'll need to do your own work in there to create it. So again, not a thinking tool, it's a research tool that spits out information that is detectable. So that's not going to be in its favor, but it is good if you want to have that brainstorming session. This is where it comes in really, really handy. If you want to spit out, say, a plan or something like that and get some information that you might not have available and it might cost you a lot of money. So if you want to draw up a marketing plan, for example, for your business, you go, well, how do I want to grow my revenue and profit. I've got some parameters here, put that in. Can you give me a marketing plan? It will give you a reasonable marketing plan with certain things to do. And that's a great base to start from. Again, research tool, not thinking tool, and certainly not acting tool, which is another step of the process that we need to look at. So from that perspective, again, great research tool. You can do things really, really fast. You can pull out a whole bunch of information. You can do that. And there's a number of things that you can do. I've seen one recently that'll create a website. You put your name and details, and I did that. It was very interesting. I put my name of my business, the primary business here, damienandrews.com. I put that in as the business name, and it found my theme, my branding artwork, branding behind me. It found that and included that in a small part. It didn't actually include it well, but it did find that artwork. I was quite surprised that it found that artwork and actually put that in there. So again, if it's got access to the internet, whatever tool you're using, obviously ChatGPT's data is dated, but there are other research tools out there, AI research tools that have more accurate information or more up-to-date information, I should say, that which you can pay for, and you can use those, and they'll give you those kind of results. So again, what it can do, and this is basically what the dot-com bubble did, really, and what COVID did to some degree as well, was the dot-com bubble sped up. It made things more efficient, more cost-effective, and that's what AI will do. It will speed up and make things more cost-effective to do, which is what you want. That's part of that component of growing revenue and profit. Every dollar you save is a dollar that goes to your bottom line. So if you can do things much faster, you're going to save money. So yes, it will do that. But it still comes down to, and what it won't do is it won't think for you, it won't act for you. So if we're looking at, for example, excuse me, lead generation for sales. We want to grow revenue. So you need to generate those leads. Now, at the moment, I haven't seen, but certainly it it may go through and go through and do some research if it's live on the internet. So you might have an AI bot that goes through and finds a bunch of people that might be potential leads for you to reach out to. That's a great step. So that it may do that. I haven't seen anything that does it yet, but no doubt someone will come up with that soon. And you go, okay, I want to find leads in this area, and you put the parameters in, and it'll go and find, and you'll get a big list of those. So that's a great time saver. It will do that very well at some point. I haven't seen anything that does it yet, but no doubt that's coming. For those who are innovative, there it is. There's an opportunity for you. The next step of, if you're growing your revenue, is the business development component, and that's where you're working out, you're qualifying your leads. Are they suitable for your product? And we're talking mostly B2B here. B2C not so much, but it's still, you want to qualify the leads. Now that usually requires, not usually, does require some interaction with the prospect, the potential customer or client, and AI is not going to be able to do that. I can't see that happening anytime soon, certainly not in my lifetime. Although maybe I'll live a lot longer, who knows? But from that perspective, AI at this present time and for the foreseeable future, AI is not going to do your business development for you. You're going to need to think. And then taking that step further, the presentations as well, if you're doing, especially if you're B2B, presentations, AI is not going to be able to do that. Yes, it might be able to help you prepare some very good presentations, and we talked about that from the research component, but it's not going to do the presentation for you, and certainly not going to do the closing of the sale, and it's not going to create that relationship, which is so critical. And this is the big component of growing your revenue and profit. I've just focused a little bit on the sales, but when we're talking about some cost savings, yes, it'll help save some costs. Operational efficiency, it'll help when we focus a lot on that. Enhanced customer satisfaction. Again, I know from my perspective, the companies that I deal with, when I've got to deal with one of those little chat bots and I call up and if I'm going to customer service and I'm not getting a real person, those companies are not on my list of ones that I recommend. Do I use some of them? Yes, because the product works. But if there's an alternative that doesn't have some generic, has a real person, and I know there's an insurance company that I use that does have it. Whenever you call them up, it goes to a real person, and that's part of the key reason I continue to use that insurance company. There's a number of other reasons, but that component of that human connection, and that's where this is a golden opportunity for people that are able to create and develop their business in a way that you create that human connection. Because with all the AI stuff coming out there, and because it's so fast and so cheap to do, there'll be a lot of people jumping on that bandwagon and wanting to use that. And what they're doing is breaking the relationship connection that you get from the people to people. And that's a real competitive advantage for people that, using AI intelligently, and remembering that the whole purpose of growing revenue and profit is to create, well, one of it's to make money, obviously, but the purpose behind that it enables that to be sustained is the relationships that you create. And if you can do that really well, then you'll make a lot of money. That's the short of it. And AI is going to be an advantage. People putting AI where they shouldn't put AI and breaking that human relationship is going to give you an advantage if you have systems and processes in place where, yes, you use AI to do certain things, but you also remember that relationship component. And that comes down to as well when we're talking about employees. Part of that component of creating a profitable company is having high quality employees who want to work with you, who want to not just work with a company, but who are passionate about the company, who believe in the company and the business, the organization that you have, and they want to drive it forward. They believe in its mission, its impact that it's having. Again, AI is not going to do that. So this is where you have for long-term business success and highly profitable, generating revenue and profit business, AI has wonderful opportunities, very similar to the dot-com bubble that happened back in 2000, so 23 years ago. Wonderful opportunities to I'm getting my things confused now. That wasn't the dot-com bubble in 2000. That was the millennium bug. And the dot-com bubble when that happened as well. The point of that is that it's very similar, that yes, there's going to be some substantial ways that you can save cost, that you can do things more efficiently and create that opportunity. And there's also going to be so many more opportunities if you know how to create those relationships with your customers, with your employees. If you can do that really well, and that's where you really want to focus and excel on and create those relationships with your customers, with your employees, because there'll be a lot of people out there thinking that AI is going to solve all this, and people really want that human connection. So this is Damien Andrews, growing revenue and profit.